In the modest Swiss village of La Chaux-de-Fonds, Louis Chevrolet was born on December 25, 1878. He was a co-founder of one of the well-known American automakers whose name was inspired by Louis Chevrolet. The decision to work in a bicycle repair business was influenced by the need for speed and technology. Chevrolet spent a year in Paris saving money for a ticket across the Atlantic before moving to Canada and then New York. The French daredevil was the moniker given to Louis Chevrolet. He established a world speed record while several times winning the 3-mile race. William Durand, the creator of General Motors, gained notoriety as a result of his successes. So what happened to the founder of Chevrolet? What led such a successful person to a tragic end? Stay tuned till the end to know more. Hello guys, welcome to the channel. In this video today, we will talk about the tragic story of the Chevrolet. But before we start, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell icon to get more videos like this. So let's take a look at his life and how it all began. The racer was negotiated with, and the Chevrolet Motor Car Company was established in Detroit in 1911 as a result. After a protracted illness, Louis Chevrolet passed away on June 6, 1941 at the age of 63 at his house in Lakewood, an area east of Detroit. His last significant design accomplishment was the 10-cylinder radial engine, which he created in 1932. Chevrolet filed for a patent, but by the time it was registered in 1935, he was too exhausted to start a new business. Louis Chevrolet's last name translates from the corrupted French as goat's milk. The mechanic was raised by a large family in a region known for its dairy products when he was born in Switzerland. Louis Chevrolet's family relocated to France in 1886 when he was just 8 years old. He quickly secures employment in a bicycle repair business and starts to learn about vehicles and other self-propelled transports. In a bicycle race that took place in Burgundy in 1895, Louis Chevrolet came in first. At that time, the first bicycle races started, and a powerful 2-meter man effectively displayed himself in them. There was a notation that stated Louis Chevrolet had won even back in 1895. Louis's journey began with this occurrence. He competed in races all around France as a young man, taking home 28 victories, and even infected his younger siblings with his love of the sport. The wealthy American congratulated Louis personally for his work and told him that if he went abroad, he would experience unheard-of success. Following his termination from General Motors, Louis de Dion-Bouton decided to purchase a Chevrolet. He was either a driver for affluent folks or a mechanic at several workshops. He met his future wife, who gave birth to 2 sons, at one of these part-time jobs. Chevrolet, however, just used this as the foundation for his favorite leisure time, racing. He still had his sights set on capturing America at the turn of the century. The young man actively entered every competition, gaining his position of authority. Additionally, he once competed in one of the nation's most prestigious races, which was put on by the same Vanderbilt. It is important to note that Louis broke the previous world speed record at this event by traveling at 110 kilometers per hour. Newspapers referred to him as a crazy daredevil because of how carelessly and even illogically he drove his Chevrolet. The public fell in love with him. Louis spent a lot of time in hospitals getting better from another injury, proving that his insanity was not in vain for him. However, he was gaining popularity, so such trifles, as Louis himself put it, could not stop him. William Durand, a key figure in the development of the American auto industry and co-founder of Chevrolet and General Motors, invited Louis Chevrolet to his home and requested him to design a new engine for the car of his dreams. This vehicle was intended to be based on a General Motors project prototype. Louis accepted right away and got to work with an unmatched amount of zeal. He developed a 6-cylinder engine with an overhead valve that had a 105 km/h top speed. The result was the Classic 6, the first model from the newly established firm. Durand sought to avenge his offenders, who so impudently booted him out of General Motors, by becoming wealthy once more as soon as possible. Durand's argument swiftly turned from business-related disagreements to personal criticism and hatred. Chevrolet leaves his position in 1913 and shortly thereafter sells all of his stock. This was carried out under the impact of anger toward Durand, who started a strategy of debasing cars when Durand wasn't in America. Durand was able to get revenge on the owners of his previous company with the help of Chevrolet Motors. After acquiring majority ownership in General Motors, he triumphantly assumed the presidency. Chevrolet qualified at 130 km/h for the 500-mile race at the 1915 Cornelian Indy 500. The Cornelian weighed only 500 kg, which is extremely little. A Stirling engine, which is a type of external combustion engine that can run on any kind of heat source, was installed in this vehicle. The next year, Gaston competes in the same rally and wins. But soon after, a tragedy occurs that completely alters everything. Gaston crashes and dies during one of the races. Louis, who was deeply affected by the passing of his younger brother, decides to leave racing permanently. After his brother passed away, Chevrolet continued to work at Frontenac, building Ford vehicle engines. Louis's business suddenly went out of business. He attempted to start a new automotive company, but it failed once more. The daredevil, who was Swiss-French-American, could not remain motionless for very long. He started a new business and began working on developing airplane engines as a result. Louis Chevrolet, the person behind the now famous automaker's name, was formerly a technician. In 1934, General Motors treated him with contempt and hired him as a minimum wage technician. Chevrolet was therefore forced to pick up the long-forgotten task from his youth repairing watches and home gadgets. Soon, fate laughed heartily at him. The man's legs were shortly removed because the condition was made worse by the humid environment. Louis was unable to recuperate from such a cruel turn of events and passed away in 1941 without ever fully recuperating. Unfortunately, Louis was unable to give his children a substantial inheritance because he was not wealthy due to his abilities, skills, or experience. One of a watchmaker's 7 children, Louis Chevrolet grew up in Chaux-de-Fonds, Switzerland. He developed a lifelong addiction to vehicles after his family relocated to France when he was 10 years old. General Motors CEO Monsieur Durand invited Louis Chevrolet to become the company's emblematic racer in 1909. The popular cross or bow tie, as it is often known, allegedly appeared as wallpaper at a hotel in Paris. On October 3, 1911, the first Chevrolet Classic 6 was produced. It had a 6-cylinder engine with 30 horsepower and was a typical American 4-seater. The buyer found the price of $2,500 to be outrageous, hence the car did not receive any awards. William Durand understood that the simplicity and low cost of the car, rather than its exclusivity, were the keys to its success. They served as the foundation for the 1916 creation of the Chevrolet 490, which gained the business enormous acclaim. The automobile was so popular that it continued to be made until 1922 and gave rise to the equally well-known Superior model, which was produced until 1927. Chevrolet started specializing in the cheapest and simplest cars, which gave it international fame with the 490th model. In 1917, Louis Chevrolet became a part of the General Motors Corporation when William Durand's cross-grill business failed. As a result, Chevrolet's automobiles started to dominate the company's product line. 2,263,000 passenger vehicles, SUVs, sports cars, minivans, pickup trucks, and vans were produced in 2002 at these facilities in the USA, Canada, Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina. The most well-known Chevrolet post-war model is the Corvette, which was introduced in 1953. The business was one of the first to employ automatic transmissions in large quantities. By the end of 1958, the company was selling a variety of cars with brand new original bodies, strong motors, and automatic transmissions. Although the man who gave it its name was never an American, Chevrolet is a wholly American automobile. Louis Chevrolet was born in Switzerland, completed his education there, and was hired by the Moores automobile manufacturer. He becomes the iconic Buick racer in 1909, when GM was still a separate entity. He achieves 3 significant victories and finishes the Vanderbilt Cup events in an admirable 11th place. They discuss him. His name is rising to fame. That's it for the day, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have ever owned a Chevrolet, let us know about the experience in the comments below. Also subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more amazing business biographies. And we'll see you at the next one. Until then, peace.